Welcome to Faith Forward Podcast, where we talk about believing and growing personally in God and living purposeful life. I am Sawan, your host in this spiritual journey, and today we have a guest from Thailand. So let's meet my guest. Hello, Iris. How are you?
Hello, thanks for having me today. I'm great.
You are welcome. So, we are very thankful to you. We call you and you come. So I like you to introduce yourself.
Okay, so hello everybody. My name is Iris. I am pure Filipino, but I grew up in Thailand. So I am a fresh graduate from college. I just graduated last May of 2023. So that's like, oh, it's last year. And I graduated with a degree in English. I took up Bachelor of Arts in English, majoring in
Mm.
communication, but I was also minoring in education.
Oh, wow.
So I was studying two things, English and education. I
Mm.
really like children. I like
Mm.
teaching. I think that's my passion.
Do you have experience about
Yeah,
teaching?
yeah. So when I was in college, I
Mm.
had a lot of experience in tutoring kids,
Mm-hmm.
teaching Thai children English, volunteering for schools, and yeah, so on and
Mm.
so forth. So I really found the joy in teaching kids because you know when they don't know something,
Mm-hmm.
and then their eyes sparkle when like, oh, now I know. Like I really enjoy those moments. Yeah.
So what are you doing nowadays?
So now I am a volunteer
Mm-hmm.
at Adventist World Radio here in the Philippines in CDE. I am part of Team Connect. Yeah.
Oh, wow. So thank you so much for introducing yourself. My first question to you guys in this podcast, uh, when did you surrender your life to God?
Okay, so I wasn't born Adventist. I
Mm-hmm.
am a convert.
Oh.
So um I mentioned that I am from the Philippines, right? And
Mm-hmm.
the most how to say dominant religion in the Philippines is
Mm-hmm.
Catholic. And so my family, we were all Catholics, strong Catholics
Mm.
to be exact. And my mom moved to Thailand when I was around 7 or 8 years old to
Mm-hmm.
work because she's a single mom. So she has
Mm-hmm.
to work hard for my brother and I.
Mm-hmm.
And her best friend is an Adventist. So that's
Oh.
how she converted. So my mom have witnessed her best friend's lifestyle, how
Mm.
it's different from hers, how they handle things. So they did not evangelize to her through Bible studies, but it was their
Mm-hmm.
life as practicing Christians that encouraged her to
Mm-hmm.
join Seventh-day Adventist. And so when my mom earned enough money, she
Mm-hmm.
took my brother and I. That's
Mm-hmm.
why we grew up in Thailand
Oh.
along with her.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I met Jesus. And
Mm-hmm.
actually, I grew up studying in a Catholic school. So
Mm-hmm.
I know who Jesus is, but I only know him theoretically, not practically. I didn't
Mm-hmm.
have like a relationship with him. I only knew him as someone I should be afraid of
Mm-hmm.
because that's how they taught us in schools. Like, oh, don't do this, don't do that, like that.
Mm-hmm.
But after joining the church, it's very different from the Catholic Church. SDA Church is very like family oriented. It's like a
Mm-hmm.
community. So I really enjoyed it. I got baptized in 2015.
So what are the difference you see in your life now and before?
I think when I accepted Jesus, right?
Mm-hmm.
Before there's a really huge difference. It's not only with
Mm-hmm.
the practices of course, not eating pork, keeping the Sabbath,
Mm-hmm.
and all those. I think it's also in the way I handle things, the way
Mm-hmm.
I see the world. It's very different now because
Mm-hmm.
before meeting Jesus, my heart was full of fear of the future.
Mm-hmm.
When I have problems, I only solve them by myself.
Mm-hmm.
But then after meeting Jesus, it became so lighthearted. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
how to say, it was a complete 360, and for sure you can testify to that as well. And
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I have a friend who
Mm-hmm.
will never leave me no matter how ugly I become, like
Mm-hmm.
inside and out. So yeah, I think that's it, like how I handle my problems,
Mm-hmm.
how I see the world and the future. I just feel more secure, more assured that
Mm-hmm.
everything will be fine because Jesus is in control.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So how have you seen God helping you in your challenging time?
Mm-hmm. So I love singing.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was in college, I'm part of a choir.
Mm-hmm.
So Actually, when I got baptized in 2015, I feel like I don't have a strong conviction yet that Jesus is real. I don't know, like I got baptized because I was pressured, like I was getting continuous Bible study, and I feel like of course that's the end game after getting Bible studies. Of course you get baptized. But I felt like it was a routine, and I got baptized just for the sake of getting baptized, but it wasn't like a full-on relationship with Christ. But I got to know Christ in a deeper, in a closer level when I started joining choir, because the lyrics of the song, they're very beautiful and it speaks to you. Sometimes there are things that you can't explain, but music can. So that's how, um, yeah, I encountered Jesus. I fell in love with him more through singing, and just how powerful music can speak to you, because God uses music to communicate with us, right? So yeah, I think like that.
Thank you so much for telling us about your life, how you
Mm,
surrender your life, and how God helped you in your challenging time. So, Iris, what are your goals for yourself?
that's a very difficult question, especially
Mm-hmm.
New Year's, New
Mm-hmm.
Year, new me. That's a
Yeah.
very um cliche statement,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't believe in that,
Mm-hmm.
because New Year, same God. That's
Yeah.
what I believe in. But if I were to be honest, I think my
Mm.
number one goal this year is to fall in love with Christ more.
Amen.
Yeah, to
Mm.
experience him in different ways, in small ways. It doesn't
Mm-hmm.
have to be big, but just to see Christ in every detail of my life,
Mm-hmm.
and to surrender everything to Christ. I think that's my first, because I'm struggling with that. I know
Mm-hmm.
all of us struggle with
Mm-hmm.
that. And the second one is not to worry too much. I
Mm-hmm.
think that's my goal as well, to just give it all to Christ. And the
Mm-hmm.
third one, I think, is to be more connected with my family and friends.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we tend to overlook, as missionaries, we're so focused on the people we're
Mm-hmm.
ministering to. We forget our own circle. Yeah,
Mm.
I think that.
Thank you. Thank you. So, what do you do when you are sad?
Oh my. I think eat. I like stress. I like to stress eat, which is
Mm-hmm.
really bad. I'm trying to cut that off. But when
Mm-hmm.
I'm sad, I like to listen to music, like
Mm-hmm.
calming music, and I cry it all to God. It feels so peaceful when you
Mm-hmm.
have someone to
Mm-hmm.
talk to, because that's the problem
Mm-hmm.
with people with mental health issues. They don't have anyone to open up to. But
Mm-hmm.
as Christians, we are very blessed to have a God who listens.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
sure.
think that's it.
Amen. So, second last
Mm-hmm.
question. Uh, who is Jesus to you?
Oh, Jesus is my best friend.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like, how to say, no matter how much I turn my back away from him,
Mm-hmm.
our friends here on earth, small things,
Mm-hmm.
they will already like unfriend you.
Mm-hmm.
But with Jesus, no matter how sinful we get, he's
Mm-hmm.
always the first one to approach us.
Mm-hmm.
Always the first one to open his arms to us. So I feel like he's my best friend. He's someone I can tell everything
Mm-hmm.
to. I know for some he is a father, he
Mm-hmm.
is a master, he is a God.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, he's like a best friend. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, my last question to you: what is your favorite verse and why?
Okay, so actually, my favorite verse
Mm-hmm.
depends on every season of my life.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe for this past few weeks,
Mm-hmm.
I like the parable that Jesus shared in Luke 12 about the rich fool.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, backstory. Um, Here in CDE, we received our stipend only
Mm-hmm.
one time in
Yeah.
December, right? And we thought, oh, we're so rich like that, because we receive everything at once.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, because we're foolish like that, we spent
Mm-hmm.
everything the first 2 weeks after getting our stipend. And then the last 2 weeks of December, that's when I noticed people in the kitchen, they're
Mm-hmm.
starting to worry. We don't have food, we don't have
Mm-hmm.
anything to eat. And I also ran out of money because I
Mm-hmm.
paid a few debts to my
Mm-hmm.
friends. And after that, when I looked at my GCash and my bank account,
Mm-hmm.
I only have 100 peso left. Like that's the only thing I have.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was so worried. What am I gonna eat tomorrow? What am
Mhm.
I gonna do? Am I gonna be stuck in the dorm?
Mhm.
But every day, like this, no matter how much I worry, there would always be
Mhm.
people who would knock on my door saying, "Do you wanna eat with us? Do you
Mhm.
have something to eat?" Or someone will text me, "Oh, I
Mhm.
cooked this. Come eat
Mhm.
with us. We cooked a lot." So I was like, "Oh my goodness, Lord, you're so
Mhm.
good." And
Mhm.
then I want to share the verse with you.
Mhm.
So it's in Luke 12:22 to 26. It
Mhm.
says here, Then Jesus said to his disciples, Therefore I tell you, do not worry about your life, what you will
Mhm.
eat, or about your body, what you will wear. For
Mhm.
life is more than food, and the body more than clothes. Consider the ravens, they do not sow or reap, they have no storeroom or barn, yet God feeds them. And how
Mhm.
much more valuable you are than birds, right?
Mhm. Amen.
Who of you who of you by worrying can add a single hour to your life? Since
Mhm.
you cannot do this very little thing, why do you worry about the rest? So yeah,
Mhm.
I think that verse really spoke to me. Like God even cares for the ravens, for the
Mhm.
birds, for all the creatures in this world. What more for us who are His
Mhm.
children? He died on the cross for us. We're more valuable to Him. So why do we worry so much? I think
Mhm.
that's the verse that I'm bringing with me in 2024.
Yeah, it's like very, as you share about your personal life, like about it's like a testimony, I can
Yeah,
say.
yeah.
So this verse is very encouraging for
It
you
really
to.
spoke to me because
Mm,
you know how I found out about this verse.
mm,
So my friends and I, Kuya
mm,
Sam and Ate Memory, we went
mm,
to the market to buy groceries, but the money that we use for that groceries is the last bit of
mm,
money we have left.
mm,
Like it's the last one. We have to budget it until our next stipend.
mm,
And then Ate Sha, one of our volunteers here as well,
mm,
invited us for midweek worship because they
mm,
didn't have midweek in the
mm,
church since it's holidays. But
mm,
then the three of us, we were like second guessing, like, "Ugh, should we go? Like we're so lazy because we just came back from the market. And so
mm,
we were at the guardhouse hanging out, like wasting
mm,
time, just so they would forget about the
mm,
invitation. But eventually, we walked to the kitchen and joined the midweek worship, and that was the message that
mm,
God shared to us. Like, don't worry about what to eat, what to
mm,
drink. I'm in control. He's in control. Yeah.
mm,
So I don't know what will happen if we didn't attend that midweek worship with
mm.
our friends in the kitchen. God really works in ways we cannot imagine.
Amen.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is the goodness of God.
Mm.
That how God works with the different people with the different
Mm.
ways. So thank you so much for joining us
Praise
in this
God.
podcast, and we believe that this conversation is very blissful for our audience,
Mm.
and it will be encouraged to young people and those people are facing difficulties in your
Yes.
lives.
Yes.
But God always with us. Sometimes we think that our difficulty is different from other. No one can understand, but God
Mm.
know everything about
Yes.
everyone.
You just have to taste
Yeah,
and see that the Lord is always good.
yeah.
Yeah.
So at the end, I just want to say something to young people for their encouragement. Yeah.
Mm.
Do you want to give a short
Okay.
message to them?
What I can say is
Mm-hmm.
I experienced a lot of things already in my life
Mm-hmm.
at this young age, but I my advice to you is to not look to God as someone far,
Mm-hmm.
someone untouchable, someone distant, because that's the fear that young people have. Why they're afraid to build a relationship with God is we think that He's a distant God, a God who's too high. He is high,
Mm-hmm.
but the amount of love He has for you and I is immeasurable. So I think um look to him as a friend, and you will see the difference of having him around,
Mm-hmm.
knowing that he's a close friend, not someone who's far away, who's distant. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Aris, and we have a prayer for you. May the Lord bless this year more blissful for you
Amen.
and fulfill your all heart desire, whatever
Mm.
you have. And God bless you. So, friend, thank you for joining us. And if you enjoy this episode, please share with other and give us your review so that we can continually sharing this blessing with you and your friends. God bless you all. See you in next episode.